Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tank Bangers, episode 18. I am your host, Joe Abadi. Just bear with me just a minute. I'm running a little late today. I got some interesting phone calls this morning and text messages about a previous project. Anyway, I got a little bit of a late start here, but we're going to get moving in just a moment, and I'll have some really cool stuff for you today on Tank Bangers. All right? In the meantime, you could post where you're watching the show from. If you have any questions, please post the questions in the comment section, and we'll get started in just a second here. Okay? Enter studio. Lower this. Okay. Let's see what this looks like from the other side. Add to the stage. Looks pretty good. Cut the mic so you don't hear me say the same thing more than once. And we got just too much of a reflection here. How can I do this so you have less of a reflection? Let's try it this way, guys. And ladies, if you're watching, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could see a little bit more of the low spots. You can see a little bit more of the low spots there. So when I'm working on it, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. Again, thank you for joining me this morning. I apologize that I'm running a little late. Hello, George Ackerman and Al Roof. Thanks for being here, guys. I don't know if anyone else is just here just yet, but I'm going to get started. Oh, we got the Motion Pro Cam still going today, huh? Well, it'll have to be the Motion Pro Cam, but Full Circle is the sponsor of today's show. Okay. As I've shown you a few times over the past couple of weeks, there's a lot of sanding left to right, up and down, raising the dents, making the bigger dents, smaller dents, getting them down to a low roar till you get them just where you want them. And even then, you're going to make another pass over everything, probably a couple of times before you get to the bottom. Well, before you get everything level. So I've got some low spots right here. Keep the tool that you have in there. Keep the dimples close, right next to each other. Okay? It's going to take you a little while. Well, it's going to take you a little while. You're going to be looking at your tank without a dent in it for a very, very long time, right? You want it to be right? Or do you want to look at it and see a little shallow spot there a year down the road and say, oh, I should have spent 5 minutes more. Joe told me to take my time. Why didn't I take 5 minutes more? You're going to be looking at it. Take a couple of minutes more, guys. I'm just going up and down right here. And in a second, I'll show you. Hopefully you'll be able to see. I've got to do a little bit something more with the camera. I've got new computers coming in today. We've got the audio down pretty good. Got some really good things happening here. I just want to be able to bring you the best show possible. Now, lightly, just lightly. You see that? See those little dimples right there? How I've raised it. We're still low here. I wish there was a way I could actually leave this camera like this. Bear with me a second, guys. Bear with me just a second. And I might be able to do this so you can get a better look at it. You can see it a little better. Brian Webley, thanks for being here. TV, they say you can't rush quality. Yeah, I am trying my best. So little by little, step by step, we'll get things the way we need them. And I'm going to continue bringing a program to you every morning. And what I wanted to point out here was, and sometimes I'll do this, I'll actually draw a line or a couple of lines like this and stay in between those lines. Keep myself very close using this tool right here. There you go. Keep them close. Let me know if any of you guys have tried this. You know, like Brian Webley and a few other people here, I know you've been watching the show just about every day. I think this is episode 18. So we're into our third week here. Come on, where are you? There you go. Don't be afraid to get an old banged up tank and give it a shot. The only way you're going to learn how to do it. You'll get a feel for it. You'll get a feel for the sanding. And believe me, it's an incredible sense of accomplishment when you can do something that not a lot of people can do. And guys like me who can do it, charge a fair price, just looking to make a living at doing it, but there are not a lot of people that can do it. And the day comes where you do it, you're going to feel really good about it. Let me know how the audio sounds this morning. If the audio is working really good, I always appreciate that. Congratulations on getting things sorted out, Joe. Heck, I can't even figure out GoPro editing. The struggle is real. You know what, Al Roof? I am just starting to play with a few programs like CapCut and a few others where I'll be able to make, you know, some edits and maybe record some things or bring you pre-recorded programming on the live show But editing is a whole different thing, Al. And I mean, I don't have anything to do with the movie industry or Hollywood or any of that stuff. But I did spend a little time in what they call an edit suite. Edit suite is just a fancy word for where you sit down in a room with a computer or two and a couple of big monitors, and you cut and paste, so to speak, different pieces of film and tape together to edit, like you see so many kids do today on, on TikTok and every place else. But they're making kind of rough cuts in there, they're folding it in and it's looking good. But if you ever spent time really editing something, I think those are the real true unsung heroes of the movie industry. Maybe not today so much with computers, but in the old days, you know, way back in the 80s, in the old days. Looking for more affordable sandpaper? Can you recommend somewhere? I buy my sandpaper from a place called, is it Auto Color Warehouse? I think it's Auto Color Warehouse. I buy it right on eBay. They have a wide selection of paper. I get everything from 80 to 400, but you can expect to pay for 2 rolls. You'll pay $90 for 2 rolls. It's California, so I don't know if you're not in California, you might not pay sales tax. I don't know. But by the time they charge shipping, which is reasonable because they're in Santa Cruz, they're only an hour and a half from me. Shipping is like $7 or $8. Okay, fine. But the paper and the tax and the shipping, $87. So. And I've said this for years. There's 2 things I will not buy at a discount. I won't look for something cheaper. It's either it's good and it's perfect and it does the best job, or I'm not buying it. And they both start with S. Sandpaper and shoes. I'm not looking for a discount. I want a deal. I want a little bit of a bargain. But if I got to pay more for quality, then I pay more for quality. You want to spend 35, 40 hours on a gas tank? And after all that, maybe have somebody clear coated or painted or whatever and see sand scratches? I don't. You want to put a pair of shoes on and walk around in them 8, 10, 12 hours a day and they don't feel good? Come on, guys. Nobody wants that. Shoes and sandpaper. I don't cut corners. Al Roof, I know you're putting some kind of, is it a Chris Carter replica bike of his ISDT championship? I know you're working on you've got a MX75 MX400B that you're converting to what, an enduro bike? Tell us a little bit more about that, Al. Type it in there. Let me just briefly, Al, because I know you could go into a story like, you could go into quite a story. So just type in a little paragraph for us there, Al. Tell us what you're working on. And you know what? If any of you other guys are working on bikes, I'd like to know more about that. Type in there, whatever it is you might be working on. If you got some problems with that bike, if you can't find parts, what the heck? Now's a good time to talk about it. You got a couple of other people watching the show. I'd be happy to help you any way I could with finding parts or pointing you in the right direction. $77 for 3M P grade. Well, 3M P grade. That's the best stuff you can buy, and that's exactly what you should be using. 25 yards. Doesn't sound like a whole lot. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I've got to look. I don't know, but $77 for one roll, that sounds a little expensive. Look up Auto Color Warehouse. Auto Color Warehouse on eBay. All right. George Ackerman's got a great event coming up in the fall. George, when is the date on that? Sometime in October. You got your moto barn. You got your moto mini moto barn. I know you put out quite a spread down there between food and drink, and it's a beautiful time to be in Ruther Glen, Virginia. George Ackerman's open house. Moto barn, mini moto barn. He gets a couple of legendary racers down there too, telling some good stories. I was there one year. He had Warren Reed, Barry Higgins. Oh, he had the professor, Gary Bailey, down there one year. That was a lot of fun. He brought down an incredibly beautiful bull taco. George has a bike show running there every year. Martina Faltova Cope was there. I sure would like to make it back there again this fall. When you're sanding, keep the sandpaper in the flat of your hand so it contours with the tank. There are times when you don't need to do that, but if you're going to sand by hand without a block under your hand or something like that, keep it in the flat or in the palm of your hand. Now, got a little bit of a gouge, serious nick going on right here. See that? Right there. We got to raise that up higher than level. Not too much, just enough to get the damage out. But we do have to raise that up just a bit. I'm looking at this. See, I guess you could see me here a little bit. I'm looking at it at an angle with the fluorescent light coming in. I could see it really well. Okay. I'm there. I'm right on it. I'm right on it. Now, I'm going to take a little 180. Be careful when you do this. You're going to be tempted to do this with your thumb and rub that spot. That's okay. You can do it. Do it gently. Don't create another low spot again. Just do it gently. You just want to get that little gouge out. And go back and forth. Left to right, up and down, crisscross if you have to. Round in circles. That spot's going to be a little high. You made it high. You wanted to make it high. That's how you're going to get a deep gouge out like that. Now, I'm a little high right here, and I've got two little marks. I've got two little marks, and I'm high. I could continue on with the sandpaper, but I'm starting to do this, and I don't want to do this too much to make it low. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little thread file that I love to use, just drag it across there, nice and easy, nice and easy. Going past the damage a little bit. Going past it a little bit. Blowing off the aluminum dust as I go. bringing it back down to where it needs to be. And you are taking off a minimal amount of anything with a file this fine. So don't be too concerned. If you're just dragging it over lightly, you're not putting pressure on it, just enough to control the tool, just enough to get it over. Just enough to get it over your damage. Medium pressure, flatten your hand, tight circles in a situation like this. And our big ugly gouge is gone. Got another one right here. Want to take a look at that one as well? Right here. Back up that camera a bit. Hang on. See it there? Right there. Something like this, I might be able to get through the gas filler spout, but I've got an access hole back here. And although it's a long way from the hole back here all the way up to that damage, I'm going to give it a try anyway. And if not, well, maybe I have to get in through here. Where are you? There you are. Come on. Come on. There you go, right there. This is kind of a tough spot here, mostly because it's heading toward the top and I'm at minimum availability as far as prying. The majority of the rod is inside the tank. I only have, about half of it is in there. So I don't have as much leverage way up here as I normally would have. I don't really want to drill a hole in the front of the tank. There's no need to do that at this point. You want to drill as few holes as possible. Can I get this from here? Here's the spout. Here's the damage I'm trying to get out. I don't know. It's going to be kind of tough. But you know what? I got a couple of things laying around. Weird stuff that I've bent up over the years. We're going to try it with that. All right? Our Roof and Joe Jackman, you guys are hanging tough this morning. Anybody else out there? Say hello. I think it's best if you watch through the Vintage Motocross Q&A page on Facebook. Then I could actually see. This is going to be a little, this is a little short too. I'm going to try it, but I think it's a little short. Oh, you know what's really a problem here too this morning? I got this thing bouncing around inside. Okay. You can't work on something if it's moving around. So I should have taken out these jaws. You know what? Let's do this the right way, guys. Can you see the front of this tank right here? And you can see these aluminum pieces. Let's do this the right way. Let's take these out. All right. Let's put this back in here. And I've got some kind of spacer from who knows where going across the inside of that tank with a long bolt. Oh, yeah. Okay. On the back, I got my little ratchet strap. Oh, that's tight like a tiger now. Okay. Now, I have this guy in here, but I don't think this is really, just not long enough. It's just not long enough. Let's try this one. I don't know if I'm hitting here. I don't know if my bend is aggressive enough. No, you see where it's got it back there, and I'm making contact, but I'm not making contact past there. Follow what I'm saying, guys? In other words, it's over here, but my dent is over here. I need something with a more of an aggressive bend in it. And this is too short, I think. Although I didn't try it once I put the clamps at a different angle. I don't think you could see it moving, but I can see it moving. I could see it moving. See how I've lifted it up? I don't know if you could really see it in the video, but it's definitely higher than what's around it. I'm going to do the same thing I did a little bit earlier. I'm going to take well, you know what? This is a very fine file too. Bear with me 1 second. Put this in here. Okay. This file is just about as fine as that thread file, except of course it is a little wider. And the gouge I had there, it's obviously a little bigger than the one I fixed previously over here. So I'm going to take this file, gently blow away the dust, blow away the aluminum dust when you're doing this, so you don't create, so it doesn't gall up your file and doesn't create more scratches. Okay. Getting there. These are the guys that take up the time too, you know? Yeah, it takes time to get the dents out. It takes time to get the scratches. But these little guys like this, yeah, every one of them has to be addressed individually. You can't just sand down. You can't sand out dents, guys, and you can't sand out gouges. All you're going to do is create a divot. Then you got to take the whole side down. It's not only a waste of time, it's a mistake. And that's all the comments I can see for today. I got 3 likes here. 5 people watching. Paul Parkinson Sr., welcome back. Paul, I am going to give you a call. I said this last week. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to call Paul Parkinson Sr. right after this episode today. And for you guys who may not know, Paul Parkinson Sr., replicamotorcycleparts.com. Paul has done an absolutely incredible job over the years of reproducing some of the most difficult parts that you can ever imagine, including the silencer for the 1973-74 CR250 Honda Elsinore, which is the same for your CR125. These are the pickles that if you see them NOS on eBay, you're going to pay $1,000. Don't tell me no, because I know that Gerald Langston paid $1,000 for one. And I know other people that have paid hundreds and hundreds for one that still needed repair. Get a hold of replicamotorcycleparts.com today. Paul Parkinson, a stand-up guy. A lot of stuff for KX 250s and 400. Lots of Elsinore stuff. Lots of little rubber parts that will make your restoration much more authentic. Paul Parkinson Sr., replicamotorcycleparts.com. A little bit of a high spot right there. Just a tad. Now, I got my gouge out, which was up here, but now I got 2 little low spots down here. I didn't see them. They were there, but that'll happen as you're working your way down the side of a tank or you're next to it. You'll see sometimes other little things rear their ugly heads. These aren't bad at all, though. Not bad at all. And while I'm talking about replicamotorcycleparts.com, another team that we're sort of a part of is Team Clunker. Jerry Maddox, multi-time ARMA 125 expert national champion. I think he's got just about everything on that bike that Replica Motorcycle Parts makes, and he's been winning a lot. Jerry Maddox, a great guy, puts together some great content for us at Vintage Motocross Q&A. And he's out there. He's out there in the trenches with that bike. Racing probably the most competitive class there is, 125 expert. Reliability is a big part of racing, and that's why he's using replicamotorcycleparts.com. And you know what? Another sponsor of ours and a dear friend, Russell Waters of Amsoil, he helps out Jerry Maddox too. I think there's a McCaffer race stand underneath Jerry Maddox's bike. Gordon McCaffer, certified by the state of New York, welder. Builds a beautiful stand for bikes with downpipes. I've had one for over 20 years. Still works as good as the day I got it. And when you say, well, Joe, it's a stand, how could it not work? They rust. They rust from the inside, a lot of them. The handles bend. The little saddles that are on there that go on the frame, there's bolts. They bend sometimes on some other stands I've seen, not on a McCaffer stand. Boy, I'm doing some job for you guys this morning that aren't even necessarily sponsors. Unbelievable. I'm right here. I think I need to do something more with the lighting too. I've got good lighting, but in a situation like this with the camera, I'm getting too much reflection. And I don't know whether it needs like a big canopy over this thing so we don't get reflection. I got to figure something out so I could keep bringing you guys some quality programming. Let me just try something here for a second. Well, that would work better, wouldn't it? Kind of if I had some kind of well, and it'll be dark underneath. Anyway, I'm working on it, guys. Nice. But got a little guy down here now, and we're going to get back to this. Well, one thing at a time. Let me get this out first. And hopefully you're recognizing this might not be long enough anymore. I don't think it is. Nope, doesn't go back that far. Let's see if this guy will make it. I don't know. Nope. All right. Let's go back to plan A. See if I could bring you guys in a little closer on this one. I want to show you this right here. out there. But I'm trying to get it so where there isn't so much reflection. All right, I think you could see that pretty well. We'll take a shot at that in just a second. Wiana96, Doug Nemeth on YouTube. Great episode. Who's Doug Nemeth? For that matter, Wiana96, who are you? Ruth loves Motion Pro products. All right, back up here again. As opposed to the gouge up here, which I didn't have much leverage on. This one's a little closer. I'm going to give it the old college try from back here. Yeah. I'm a little right through here too, so put a little pressure on that while I'm in the area. This is kind of a cut. Not that deep, but it was deeper than the other ones. See it there? No surprise. Another little doinker right next to it. While I'm thinking about it, guys, let me get on camera here for a second. It is Wednesday. We have a Vintage Motocross Q&A show tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Vintage Motocross Q&A. You're watching it right now, Vintage Motocross Q&A. Some of the people who work with me on the show, Jeff Kokoski and Jerry Maddox and a few others and myself. You know, we got the 4th of July coming up. A lot of guys are going away. But I wanted to bring you an episode tonight, and it's a really good one. I have great footage on there, some clips from Garrett Walsink and Harry Everetts. This is when they were in Chicago for the International Motocross Museum event, the second one. And you don't want to miss this. It's spliced into the show, or edited in roughly, but it looks pretty good. And you'll hear Walsink, of course, talk about Carlsbad and so many other things. But what you don't want to miss is Harry Everetts talking about the GP in Austria, where Jaroslav Falta was world champion for 30 minutes. Very, very interesting perspective from a man who was actually in the race, and he was there that day. Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight at 6 p.m. And you'll see a lot of other cool stuff on there too. Our usual what's it worth, and next time try this, and some other cool stuff as well. But Garrett Wolsink, Harry Everett tonight, 6 o'clock, Vintage Motocross Q&A. Okay. You saw me do it yesterday. And I think I'm going to try it again today. This is an exceptionally low spot right here. Not a dent. It's very shallow. I mean, is it a dent? Well, yeah, it's a dent. If I start prying too much on this, I'm going to make it too high, similar to when there's a gouge or deep nicks. When I have to make it higher, then I have to sand it, then I have to file it. I want to avoid that when I can. I mean, there's no other way to fix the deep gouges. But when I've got just a shallow spot, but small, I start prying on it, I'm going to wind up making a high spot. I don't really want to do that. So, you remember the term hammer on dolly? Okay? I've got the tool behind there. I've got my 100-year-old body hammer. And when you're doing this, guys, you're tapping gently. You're not driving in railroad spikes. Okay? And you should see a shiny spot come up from the tool that you're raising it from behind as you tap it down. It also sounds different. It also sounds different. See how that sounds more solid than that? See where it's getting shinier right there on the edge where the Sharpie was? And I'm just moving that tool in there a millimeter at a time to move it across the dent as I raise it up. Now, I'm good where my little dent was. There was a bigger dent here. You saw that. It's still there. Okay. If there's anything you guys want to see on the VMXQ&A show, let me know. Whatever it might be. You want to know more about wheel building or spokes or welding? I mean, whatever it is, let me know, because we've got a lot of great people that help us out with that show. You know, like Tom from Full Circle Racing, Tom McAllister. And if they need to come on, I could always make a little video with them. They could explain stuff to you. Anything like that. Anything we can do to help make the sport of vintage motocross more fun, more interesting, less expensive, if that can be done too. All right, I think I'm going to move back to these two little problem children right here. I'm going to try and get back inside through the gas filler spout. And we'll go from there. Try and get that out for you. And boy, an hour goes by quick, 9:56 already. I mean, I don't try and stay on the hour. I mean, there's been times I've gone an hour and a half. And, but, all right, we want to get in here. And I think this hoopy guy is going to be that's what's going to help us out in that situation. I actually made this to get inside the petcock area. Well, I'll show that to you someday. Just not now. Let's see what we got here. All right, this is going to make it a little difficult for me to keep it on camera, but I'm going to try. It's a tough angle for me. Not a tough angle for me. It's a tough angle for me to keep it. See, because I grab it by the hex at the end of that nut, it kind of dictates which way this is going to be inside the tank. And I want to keep the vice grip to where I can keep leverage on it. So, and again, this is sort of experimental. I don't know if this is going to work or not. You go through that a lot while working on stuff like this. No, it looks like I got a problem here. Okay. Let's try that. I'm getting it, guys. I'm getting it. I'm right here. I got it. I got all three of them. I got all three of them. I want to back up a little bit though on the camera so I could sand and you can see what's going on. I got a pretty good shot of that, right? You're waiting for Paul to produce an Elsinore pipe. Yeah. But you know what? In the meantime, TV, you know what you should do? Go over to Paul Parkinson's website, replicamotorcycleparts.com. Buy some odds and ends. Buy some rubber parts. Buy some gas. Buy some grommets for your gas tank and the rubber pieces under your seat. Maybe you need a aftermarket air filter cage. Support the company because that stuff doesn't come for free when it comes time to make molds or how he does it through 3D printing, and he 3D prints steel. I mean, it takes a lot of time and a big financial commitment to do that. So in the meantime, while he may be working on a pipe for you and everyone else, go over to replicamotorcycleparts.com and buy something. Spend $20, spend $100. Help the guy out, help support the sport and the people that are behind you. Rick Cardello. Hi, can you restore my 69 Super Rat tank in good condition? Has a small dent near the seat. No, I can't, Rick. It's steel. Joe don't do steel. It's steel and it's chrome. You know what you want to find? Now, who knows if there are even places like this that do it anymore. Remember chrome bumpers from your cars? And certainly in the 40s and 50s, they had huge chrome bumpers. But, you know, going into the early 70s, before all that rubber stuff came about. Chrome. You want to find a chrome shop. Very hard to find these days. Very caustic, chemicals. They're grandfathered in. Nobody's opening up a new chrome shop. You need to find a chrome shop for your Hodaka tank. They'll strip the old chrome, and then your dent, if it's not too big, they braze it. They fill the dent in with braze. It's sanded down. And then I think there's zinc, and then there's copper, and then there's chrome. Look for a bumper shop, a chrome shop in your area that does car bumpers. They might be able to help you out. Or else, you know, your Hodaka pages on Facebook and places like that. All right? Thanks for joining us today, Rick. All right. We're back by the Three Stooges right here. This one's ugly, man. It's a dent, it's a gouge, it's pitted, but we're going to get it. Okay, so I know I'm still high here, and I'm fine with that. I want it to be a little high because I don't have the little puck marks that are in there. I don't have them out yet. So the fact that this is a little high, I'm good with that. Can you see it now compared to the way it was? Three pretty ugly marks over there. And I got them out of the way. Now, from the sanding, it's starting to level off. It's getting lower. It's getting the way it should be with the contour of the rest of the tank. Why is that a problem? The problem is I still don't have the nick out all the way. So, it only needs to come up a very, very small amount. And all right, remember what I told you earlier? Little hammer on dolly. We're going to try it again. I got the pressure on it from the back. You got to be very accurate though, and it's hard to be accurate on a little mark like that. Better? But not quite there. But it looks pretty good. Now, I've got a lot more sanding to do down the side here. I could spend more time here taking out that, I mean, that thing is so small that if I went like this, you can't see it past that. There's one here too. That's how small they are. Now, there's a lot of sanding to do over the top. I've got some dents. There's a little more sanding to do on the sides. So I'm not going to make myself too crazy right here with these two little pinpoints. There'll be more to do. There'll be more sanding, and I'll address that more tomorrow. Yeah, but for today, maybe I'll get you a little bit of a better shot going this way. I don't know. All right. I'm Joe Abadi. You've been watching Tank Bangers. the web segment of Vintage Motocross Q&A. Don't forget Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Great little show. It's a rerun, but if you haven't seen it, it's got Garrett Walsink and Harry Everts, uncut, unedited, talking about some really cool stuff, including the GP where Jaroslav Falta, let's call it what it is, he was robbed of the World Championship. All right? You'll hear that tonight on Vintage Motocross Q&A. In the meantime, I want to thank Tom McAllister, Full Circle Racing, for being a sponsor of our show. Full Circle Racing Limited, big supporter of motocross throughout the Northwest. Who are all some people that help us out here? Gordon McCaffer makes a beautiful stand. Bultaco East. Don't forget the George Ackerman open house event that happens October 25th. What else do we have going on here? Vinco, keep the ride going. They've got piston kits for KX 450s now, the International Motocross Museum. We're doing as much as we can here to help promote the great sport of motocross. I'm Joe Abadi. Be sure to come back tomorrow for more Tank Bangers. We'll see you then.